Hey everyone, Nubkeks here and welcome to my tier list for the D.Va patch. Pretty much the last big patch, I think, for, unless they surprise us, for Hero League 2017 Season 1 here, and here is the storm. I'm going to guide you through. We've got 5 tiers here, ranking all of the heroes in order of how strong I think they are in Hero League. Now, one thing to note to go into this is obviously for higher level play. As you go into the lower leagues, you're much more flexible in what you pick. It becomes much more important to play stuff that you're good at. That's still quite important even at high levels as well. But the compositions and the heroes that are stronger do start to show quite a bit more. Anyway, before we dive right into the tiers as well, also worth mentioning, in the last tier list I was speaking a lot about how double support was totally dominant. Not so much the case anymore. Not so much the case anymore. Actually, Blizzard did a very good job with a number of, actually what appeared to be very small number tweaks. They've brought double support quite a bit into line by targeting some of those problem areas. So I think double support can still be a thing, but it's nothing that you need to be crazy worried about anymore. It's been brought into line. It's not as strong, you know, Lucio, Lily, Oriel, all being nerfed down. Kind of big problem heroes there. So yeah, it's not really as dominant a thing anymore. With that, let's dive into this. So, Tier 1, these are the strongest heroes. I think overall for Hero League at the moment right now, Alarak is, for me, the big one. This is the Alarak rework. I don't know that he's, you know... The thing about Alarak, it's hard to say for sure just how good he is because he's such a high skill cap hero. He's also a hero that... Once you get ahead, he's a win more hero. He starts to stack up his sadism, he stacks up his quests, and he can just destroy you. Whereas when you fall behind, he starts dying, he loses the sadism bonuses, it's not as good. So he's such an interesting hero, hard to judge his strength, but from what I can tell, and also depends on how good people are at him, he seems just insanely strong though, to me. He is my personal, like, first ban hero every game. Like, whenever I'm team captain, I'm just going to ban this guy away unless my team's going to first pick him. Do not want to go up against Alarak. Do not want to face into that snowball, into, oh, well, Alarak hit a 3-person combo. Well, I guess that team fight is just lost for us. It's just a bit of a nightmare. I also like a lot of squishy heroes, so that doesn't work. But yeah, Alarak he's really, really strong. So he is my #1 hero in Hero League right now to be scared of. Moving on then, we have a few tanks up here. We've got Nubkeks, Arthas, and Sonya for the Warriors up in Tier 1. I mean, Sonya just still so dominant as that sort of bruiser role, that second warrior, solo laning, doing a lot of great damage. So you got this new burst build around focus attack, poison spear, which is doing really well. I think Sonya is very strong. Nubkeks is probably the best warrior in the game overall. So good against spell damage. And then he also has got Cocoon, which locks down and prevents a lot of the basic attackers doing stuff as well. Plus just the inherent CC in his base kit. Incredibly good. I think Nubkeks is the #1 tank. Arthas is also a very good tank. Better against some melee heroes and basic attackers. And then, you know, the ghouls from Arming the Dead also block some skill shots, which could be good against mages. So Arthas is still really good. I don't think he stands out as much as the other two, but still very strong. In terms of damage dealers then, you know, Greymane, Probius, Nazeebo, Gul'dan, and Zeratul. I think Probius in particular still remains sleeper overpowered. Like, Probius is so strong in a lot of maps. I think the best way to describe him is he has got the wave clear of 2 heroes. I think that's kind of the one line that sums up what makes him so good. So much wave clear, so much pushing power that can just dominate certain compositions. Now, Greymane, super flexible, physical damage based hero, which is fantastic. Good burst, good kill pressure too. Gul'dan, great wave clear, AoE spell damage. Nazeebo scales insanely well. Also, has got great single target damage with the spider build. So he works really well in late game maps. He also works incredibly well in like Battlefield, which is such a short map, but the single target spider damage is just so strong. So yeah, Nazeebo is incredible. Zeratul, very high skill cap hero as well, much like Alarak. And incredibly dominant in the right hands. But yeah, you don't have to worry about him too much because not that many people play him and he's so difficult to get the most out of. So yeah, in terms of supports then, the 2 best supports in the game right now, in my opinion, are Malf and Uther with all the nerfs to the other supports. I think these guys have come back into their own. The thing about these 2 guys is while they don't provide, you know, just insane amounts of healing, they provide a good, solid amount of healing. It's more than enough for the most part, but most importantly, they bring a lot of crowd control, AoE crowd control on top of that, and kill pressure. You know, Malf with the AoE silence, the AoE roots, Uther with the point and click CC with the stun, and then the AoE stun with Divine Storm. Their defensive heroics are also pretty nice as well if the draft calls for them. They are the best supports in the game right now. Moving down to tier 2 then, we have Oriel down here. you know, she might even move a bit lower. We'll see, but she does combo quite nicely, you know, with the Gul'dan, with the Probius, even with the Zebo a little bit, you know, with Cassia, Fala, a lot of heroes that she combos well with that are good right now. So Oriel can be quite good, though she is difficult to play as well, doesn't have plans, that sort of thing. Let's actually look at all the supports here in this tier. Karazim, I think underrated, very, very strong. Love this guy as a support, very aggressive, very mobile, very quick. Rehgar, great support, very good at doing siege camps and objectives with his AoE from his lightning shield. Good burst healing, good AoE healing too. He's just a great overall support. And that's all the supports that I have here. Yep, that's it. In terms of damage then, we've got Cassia, Chromie, Falstad, Genji, Jaina, Kel'Thus, Lunara, Sergeant Hammer, Vala, Tychus, Tracer, Sylvanas. So yeah, a pretty broad list here in terms of the damage dealers, but these are the ones that generally speaking are going to be the strongest. Very important with damage dealers that you do fit them in with your team comp and be very careful about their counters. You want to be picking them to counter what the enemy team has built, and being careful not to pick them into things that are being countered already by the enemy team or that the enemy team can easily counter for. Let me see, for example, you know, Vala can be very vulnerable to burst damage, you know, and dive. Things like, you know, the Genji can destroy Vala sometimes, or Alarak can destroy Vala quite easily, stuff like that. You know, Genji, okay, let's go for Genji because he's one of the newest heroes. I think Genji's actually really good. Very high skill cap hero again. He's got a couple of quite good builds as well. I think X-Strike is overall the best, certainly at high level play. The thing to watch out for with Genji is like point and click CC. Double support with like a Lili can be decent against him as well, but Uther in particular is very, very good against Genji, just with the amount of CC. You know, like Genji goes in, you lock him down with your first stun with Uther, you follow up with another stun, and your warrior follows up with another stun, and Genji can be dead just like that after diving in and feeling like he's going to be safe with his tools to survive. You can kind of play around that. So, but he is very, very strong on several of the maps. In good hands, he can be quite effective. Other things to note just overall, Ragnaros as well, one other damage. Let's talk about warriors too. Dehaka may move down. I think Dehaka's build is going to change. I think Dehaka is now going to be more focused on drag and CC. His damage has been nerfed a lot. He still has I'm leaving him in tier 2 because he is still ultimately a good solo laner with a global. He's in second warrior, very tanky. I think that still makes him a good hero, but his win rate's gone down loads. The nerf was pretty harsh, so we will see. Bear that in mind. I think the build and the playstyle will have to change. But I'm expecting, once time goes by, people adjust to how the new Dehaka plays. I think he could still be quite good. I think he still should be quite good. So we'll see how that goes. Ragnaros have also moved up my tier list since last time. I think Rag is he's actually doing well in the current meta. He has some actually pretty good solo lane matchups, and is nice on a lot of the maps. Cassie and Chromie have moved up as well. I think they're quite solid. Down here in tier 3 then, these are all heroes. Tier 3, they're kind of like, they're okay. You can run them. They don't shine as much as the other ones, but they can be like reasonable picks if the draft calls for it. And even strong picks, very, very strong picks on certain maps and if the draft calls for it. So we have Abathur, Artanis, Azmodan, D.Va. D.Va, by the way, very good in Infernal Shrines. That's probably the best thing I could say about her. Her AoE clear plus the explosion on the shrines is incredibly strong. ETC actually coming back into the meta with some of the other tanks being nerfed down. I actually think ETC, this is kind of like, this is the patch where he's starting to come back in. Illidan, Johanna Kerrigan, Lili, been toned down. Li Ming, Lieutenant Morales, Lucio. Overrated. Very overrated. The nerfs have hurt him a lot. Lucio is very weak in the early game. He's very weak. He doesn't have single target healing. His base healing got nerfed. Late game, he's very strong. Very strong late game, but the early game, unfortunately, kind of sucks. So I think Lucio he's one of those heroes that's still picked a lot and doesn't deserve it as much anymore. He's only okay. Malf and Uther have very much taken the reins off of Lucio, so do watch out for that. Medivh, Muradin. Muradin also not doing too great in the current meta, but we'll see, so just bear that in mind. Nova moved up a good bit, actually. I think the new Snipe Master build is very nice. It provides a surprising amount of damage. The only problem, the big problem with Nova, she's not that good until level 7, and another big problem is that People will tilt if you pick her in Hero League because I think Nova sucks, so bear that in mind. Got the Butcher here as well, Thrall, Tyrael, Tyrande, come back to that second, Zul, Zagara kind of nice actually with the global pressure at the moment, and does actually okay in the current meta, and Zarya. Tyrande, the rework, it's actually okay, it's okay. I've seen a lot of Tyrande played, and she's decent, she's solid. She might move up to tier 2 as people get kind of hands on the rework, but at the moment, like, she's okay. Definitely not to be as feared by any means as the Alarak. But she's a good solid hero, and definitely nothing wrong with her. Down in tier 4 then, we have Brightwing, Chen, Cho'Gall, Gazlo, Raynor, Rexxar, Tassadar, the Lost Vikings, Valeera, and Zul'jin. These heroes, they can be good. In fact, actually, let me move. I'm going to move Brightwing up. Sorry, I meant to move her up before. Brightwing is actually pretty solid. I forgot. That was a mistake. Whoops. Anyway, fixed. Yeah, Brightwing's nice. She's really, really good in Hanamura. And she can be okay. She's pretty good in Warhead as well with the global and stuff like that. So Brightwing's not too bad by any means. Chen, Cho'Gall, Gazlo, Raynor, Rexxar, Tassadar, Lost Vikings, Valeera, and Zul'jin. I think these heroes are pretty weak overall. I mean, there's nearly always a better pick that you can grab. But sometimes they're going to work out okay if you get the specific draft or composition. They can work pretty well. So, you know, they're not never pick heroes, but I feel like overall they're kind of the weakest. Then tier 5 have got Murky and Samuro. I think these are overall the weakest as well. There's a couple of maps where Murky is good, everywhere else just no. Samuro, he's actually decent on some of the maps, but he just gets hard countered quite easily. You know, Arthas, Kel'Thas, that's the problem with him. He gets countered quite quickly, but he's good at taking objectives. So, I mean, I don't think there's any like never pick heroes in the game at the moment, but this would be what I think is the overall power rating. So again, tier 1, these are the heroes that are going to be most often like the first few picks, first few bans. Tier 2 will kind of fill out quite quickly the rest. Tier 3 dipped into, you know, a fair amount to like fill out as the bans and the comps come in. Tier 4, if you think it's really necessary, if you've got like a really good comp or map for them. And then Tier 5, if you really, really think it's good, but generally not, you're going to be sticking to these two as much as you can. One thing to note as we come up to the end of this as well, just to give you a little preview, you can on this, and I'll have the link in the description, but I have my tier list adjusted for every single map as well. So for example, if we hop onto Infernal Shrines, just because it's the D.Va patch and she is here, you can see D.Va. So what I've done for every single map is I've chosen a fairly, you know, sizable selection of heroes, and I've put them just into one tier on this particular map. And this is basically that they are notably better than usual on this map because of how the map functions. So this is kind of a map to map guide. I'm not saying that these are tier 1 heroes in this map, but that just for the particular hero, they perform particularly well on this map. So just, you know, for example, Arthas, I think, gets a lot of value on the Shrines and Infernal Shrines with his AoE slows. He can really go in there and bully and create a lot of pressure. The D.Va, I already mentioned, her explosion on the Shrine, incredible zoning, secures a lot of the defenders. For example, Ragnaros, you know, you can use his Molten Core to defend against the Punisher. You can use it to secure the Shrine. You know, again, grab those last few defenders and make it very difficult for the enemy team to put their bodies onto that Shrine. You can even use the Molten Core to push with the Punisher initially, all that sort of stuff. You know, Sonya, Whirlwinding on the Shrine, everything like that. These are basically, you know, heroes that fit on that map particularly well, in my opinion. So, for example, like Samuro, who I've rated kind of low overall, you know, I think he's a pretty bad hero overall. He can be kind of good on Infernal Shrines. It's better, this is a better map for Samuro than other maps tend to be, because he can solo the Shrines very quickly if he's left alone there. He can also take the Merc camps very quickly himself. He can split push the lanes very quickly if people kind of leave him isolated, so he can work decently well there. Is he like an amazing pick on the map? No, I don't think so. I don't think so, but it's a better map for him overall than other maps, if you understand what I'm saying. So that's basically what I've set up here, and you can see that for every single map. For example, another one, Hanamura. You can see there's some really interesting ones on Hanamura. For example, Brightwing with Bribe is insanely good here. Falstad with his Bribe talents is really good. Bribe basically OP on this map. Nova. Anyone with Bribe basically comes up here as being really, really strong. That sort of stuff. So yeah, you kind of get the rough gist of how this sort of thing works, and that will give you a little bit of extra guidance for the map specifically. So if you do want to play one particular hero, you can find out which maps kind of suit them a little bit more. I'll try to keep that stuff updated as we go through. About every week or so I go through and I shift things around as the meta changes, as people learn new builds and you have to adapt to them and stuff like that. So do check back over the course of this patch to see how things are going. I'll do a big tier list video with every major patch, every hero release, every 3 weeks or so, but I will keep this updated as we go. You can tune into videos or streams. I'll have info there as well. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I will look forward to seeing you in some more videos in the future. Until then, bye bye.